Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Help Us Understand podcast, where we stay confused. I'm Josh.
I am Zach.
And remember what I said last week?
Oh, what?
I've gone 39 years
without
getting a tattoo.
Oh, we're doing that now, huh?
I have to say it every time.
Well, I'm Zach before he gets on to his little rampage here.
It's not a rampage.
I mean, if you don't know me by now, that's fine. You go back and listen to the other podcasts to figure it out.
Well, okay, everybody likes tattoos, and I've gone 39 years without getting one. And I intend on never getting a tattoo, so I will be updating each week.
Podcast episode 96. He'll go, welcome, whatever.
I need a
I'm
tattoo.
Josh, and I've gotten a tattoo.
Okay, to hell with all that. So here's what I want to talk about this week. We're going to talk about Lizzo. And here's why.
Ooh.
This wasn't necessarily something that I thought would be podcast worthy because it's kind of a sensitive topic. But we like to do that kind of stuff, talk about those things. But here's why.
Yeah.
I've kind of developed a liking to arguing with people on Facebook, but I'm not intentionally doing it.
Okay.
People are posting shit on Facebook.
Okay.
Well, but I'll comment on it. Well, just because I just don't understand other people's arguments. So somebody posted about Lizzo, and they were like, Lizzo looks great and all this other stuff. And all I said was, now granted, this might have been a little confrontational. I didn't mean to, but all I commented was, what happened to body positivity? So referencing when Lizzo was big still, that she kept talking about how, well, this is who I am 100% that bitch. And, I'm happy with my body. This is the way my body is. Talking about how much I love my back fat and all this other kind of stuff. Well, what happened to that? I thought you were happy about being heavy. I thought you were happy about being your size. You were happy in your body.
Yeah.
Like who you are. And and the whole point that I was trying to make was, if that's the case, then why did you lose weight?
Right.
Which is
Yeah. And I think to clear it all up, all she had to do, and she may have said something along the lines of this, but not directly, was, hey, look, folks, I am happy with my body. Yeah. However, I recognize the fact that it is unhealthy and that I do need to work on some things.
And that's what...
That would clear it all up.
And this one person kept coming back to me. He was like, so you expect her to hate herself? And I said, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. Right. I'm simply saying that people use body positivity until they're ready to acknowledge that they're not happy with the way they look.
Right.
Why is it such a bad thing for you to go, I need it. Like I'm overweight. And have you ever heard me say, I'm happy in my body? I'm proud of this weight.
As a joke.
Yeah, well, but if you've never heard, I am 100% that bitch.
Right.
I've never said that.
Maybe drunk or something.
No, I mean, I think I'll say it. I think all people that are overweight to an extent to where it's affecting their daily life are not happy with the way that they are.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be an asshole or in saying that in any kind of negative way. I just think that they need to tell themselves that because they've tried to lose weight so many times and failed that they need to convince themselves that it's okay to be at the weight that they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing?
I think that people lose the understanding of the benefits of their own weight loss. And what I mean is, I'm not that heavy of a person, but at one point I was like 210, right?
Oh God.
Right. Yeah. But for me, that was the biggest I ever was. And when I was at that point, I noticed that I was like, man, my energy was down. Mm-hmm. My sleep, I'd snore all night long. Yeah. Like I didn't sleep as good. And then I felt like I constantly needed sugar. I felt like I was like, and it just felt like normal. Right. I didn't really question it. And then when I was like, okay, I'm losing weight. I got to lose weight. Mm-hmm. Started losing weight. I was almost 20 pounds down. And I was like, I'm sleeping better.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm in as much pain. I don't feel like I'm dying to have sugar as much. And it's like, you don't realize that how much it's affecting your body sometimes until you make the choice to really go in and lose weight.
But I don't even think it's necessarily about how it is to an extent about how you feel.
Yeah.
In regards to pain or being tired or sleep, like what you're talking about. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like I cannot fathom the idea of a heavy person getting in front of the mirror and looking at themselves and being like, "Good, that's right, that's normal."
Yeah, I mean,
it's not though. Right. Like glorifying like heavy models and all that kind of stuff. Like that is clearly something. There's no market for that.
Right.
There's no market for that.
Well, there might be a small market.
Maybe. But there's no 660. You're having a model for a particular type of clothing and you're going to mass produce that clothing to sell to 3 people?
Well, and I think there's a fine line there. I think And I'd say it's probably more for women than it is men because obviously it's more of a standard for women, and that's unfortunate. But it's more of a standard for women than it is men.
Right.
But I think there's that fine line of severe morbidity versus obesity. I think there's a lot, like Lizzo, I'm sorry, morbidity.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, there are a lot of women who, after they've had kids, they struggle with that weight loss significantly, and they are on the side of obese. But it's not outrageous. We're not talking 400 to 600 pounds.
Right.
We're talking they're like 50 to 70 pounds more than they probably should be.
Right.
But that's something that's semi out of their control. And I understand on that point of view.
And that's reasonable.
The models that are representing that part of society.
And that's reasonable because that is normal nowadays.
Right, yeah.
But 600, 700, 800
Exactly,
pounds, that's not normal. And that's,
Right.
you
You
at least
cannot-
I don't think will ever be normal.
Yeah, you cannot justify
No.
saying, look, I can hide a gun under my rolls. That's not
Seriously.
okay.
Well,
Like,
and I didn't say this when I was, commenting the stuff, but I did reference a quote that Lizzo did say about how I love my back fat. I love how my elbow fat hangs down on my arms and stuff. She kept listing all of these things that she was happy with. And my theory is she was listing off the things that particularly she didn't like about herself.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And was saying that to make herself feel better about it. And here's the thing. I have no problem with what she did. That's great. You lose weight. Ozempic, dieting, what the fuck ever, however you do it. The problem that I have with it is she never came out and was like, you know what? I've been saying for all these years that I'm happy with the way I am. And honestly, now that I've had some time to reflect and think about it, I'm not happy with the way that I was.
Wrong.
And I was wrong, and I want to be healthy, and that's why I'm choosing to lose weight. But what's happened instead is the whole body positivity talk has completely gone away, except for the fat people that are still talking about body positivity, who are turning on Lizzo, which means that it's not an actual way of thinking. It's a fucking culture. You're creating this just way of thinking just to separate yourself from other people.
Right.
Which is the exact same thing that you're fucking trying to fight.
Yeah.
You know?
And see, I've heard people argue this where they're like, well, there's some big people who can't lose weight. Now, yes, there is a small
Explain that
fraction.
to me because I don't know that. What do you mean?
So there's a small fraction of people who do have liver problems, who have other issues that are, even with treated medication, it's so significantly difficult. They could be on they could eat healthier than you and I, and their body weight would not decrease.
People can have metabolism issues. I get that.
However,
but I refuse to believe that the lesser intake of calories over time. Now, granted, it might take other people longer. You will eventually decrease in size.
But then my next point there is they now have medicines out there to assist with that, like Ozempic, for example. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% safe. I don't know. There's not enough data.
It's a diabetes medicine.
Right. But there are things out there, and some altitude that you can buy online that is there to help those who've never been able to lose that weight.
Right.
So there are ways for people to lose weight. It's their choice if they want to lose that weight or not.
Nobody's forcing them to.
Right. So, and then all these folks, even the people you argue with online, backing this up is like, are you really thinking clearly about what you're saying?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Is it a form of delusion as well as everything else? Maybe. I was watching an interview with this. It wasn't even an interview. It was an Australian talk show. And that was the topic. And they had this really heavy social media person. I can't remember what her name was. And she was talking she kept saying, she was like, well, I have no medical problems. I have no pain. I swim so many laps a day and stuff. And I'm like, that's a lie. That's not true.
Right.
If you had no medical issues, your body can't take that kind of weight. I'm big, and I'm nowhere near as big as she was, and I ache. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
And you were swimming that many laps? Bullshit.
Yeah.
What? Once every couple of months, and you're calling that daily? No, that's not true. And I feel bad for those people in the same way that I feel for people that struggle with gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria. One of those. It's the same way I feel for those people. I feel like in society nowadays, everybody's so afraid to say the thing that needs to be said because of the risk of hurting their feelings, but they need to be told, like what you guys tell me, like, dude, you need to fucking do something. like y'all you need to eat better. Like, what did you eat like and stuff? I mean, it's hard to hear sometimes, but it's something that I need to fucking hear.
I mean, we all do, but that's That's the healthy criticism that people should be able to handle.
Right. Now,
They can't.
now, is there a negative, upsetting way that people do it? Yeah, that's not right. I get that. I would never
Yeah.
go up to somebody and be like, you fat fuck. Like, I would never do anything like that.
But however, some people benefit from that, though.
I don't know, dude. That in my opinion, that's bullying.
That one, I remember reading that story about that one guy. He was way overweight, and he said his friends text him every single day and said, "You fat fuck, get up and lose weight."
Yeah.
And he got so upset,
Tired of it,
that he was like, "Fine, fuck you, I'm gonna do it." And like he got frustrated, stopped talking to him, but they still text him every single day.
If y'all
and he was like, that was his motivation. Like, I'm gonna fucking lose this
If y'all
weight.
send me that one day, I'd be like, "Fuck y'all, leave me alone." I would turn that shit down.
Well, we might text you that every day.
You better not.
Eventually,
Nah, but see, no, I've been
show up
dieting.
to your house and be like, "Brrr."
I've been dieting for a couple weeks now, so I think I'm actually doing okay. So been doing pretty good. I told you I was cooking. That's why I couldn't come over here when you wanted me to.
Cooking doesn't mean dieting. All because you say you're cooking doesn't
For
mean
me,
you're
it
dieting.
does. For me, it does. If I'm cooking, that means that I'm not going to get fast food.
Oh,
that's
fair.
exactly what that
Okay.
means. Yeah, because I can't. No, you know me. I don't see. It's a convenience thing.
Yeah.
I signed up for one of those meal kit things again.
Oh,
to
yeah,
try
which one?
that.
Not a sponsor. Which one?
HelloFresh.
Oh, okay.
Others are available.
You'll have to tell me how that goes.
I mean,
I think
only-
we did either that or I don't remember which one.
Y'all did every plate,
and
I did that too.
Yeah.
Well, I did the one that's just 2 servings a day.
Yeah.
So I would make it. I'd have one for lunch and I'd have one for dinner.
Which, to be fair, that's another thing that people continuously say. It's too expensive.
Right.
If you really compare it, though,
yeah.
It's a fine line. No, it's not as cheap as going to the store,
No.
right? But it is a little bit cheaper than going out to eat every single
Well,
day.
so what it is now? It's $51 or $2 a week, and that gives you the 6 meals, 2 servings each.
Yeah.
Per week.
Yeah.
Well, but you go to fucking McDonald's nowadays and get a Big Mac meal. It's like $13.
Yeah, a day
for one meal.
right?
So it ends up being
Yeah,
cheaper
it
that way.
does. Yeah, it's much better than fast food. But,
Oh, absolutely.
and people turn that down constantly. In reality, it's pretty healthy. You have to just stick to it.
Well, so one guy come back to me and he goes, "So your argument is stupid." And he clarified. He was like, "So you're saying if someone is skinny or if someone's healthy and they want to improve their body by lifting weights, or bodybuilders want to get bigger, then they should be ashamed of that?" And I just came back and I was like, "Dude, there's a distinct difference.
They're aiming
in that.
for a healthy
That's what I'm saying. I
lifestyle.
said one is living an unhealthy lifestyle, and the other that you're referring to are just trying to make sure that their certain level of fitness is staying the same or getting better. That's
now,
all that
I
is.
will say though, fitness maxis who are in the gym who are like shredding their body to tears and they're taking steroids and whatnot.
They can't be happy.
That's the exact same as being
That's
overly
nuts,
fat.
right.
It's just there's a fine line there. Being in
At
shape.
that point, I think it's an obsession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And being in shape is good. Being a little bit muscular because you want to be a little bit stronger, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
It's when you're dedicating 6 hours a day in the
Yeah.
gym, it's overdoing it. It's no different than eating 6 hours a day straight. I
Right.
mean, it's like it's the same on both sides.
Yeah, well, then I've also seen that obese people will also make the argument of like, I'm constantly contacted by men that are attracted to this body type. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I get that there are some people that have they're called feeders. Those people that are big that are
Feeders?
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of a lot, but I have not heard
Okay,
of feeders.
so feeders are these big women, and there's men that do it too, but there's these big women that date these little guys, like normal, like skinny guys, and that pretty much they just eat and eat because that's what the guy's fetish is, to keep them as big as possible for sexual reasons. I know, but here's the thing: it's
wish
hard
we
for
had a camera on right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. It's hard for you and I to grasp, and we've talked about weird fetishes and stuff. I 100% believe that there are people out there that are attracted to that, but not many. So here's the thing: you're a person that is severely obese, and you want to start to try to convince yourself or give yourself reasons why it's okay to be your size. So either I'm just happy in my body, or I'm contacted by these people that are into it.
I was about to say, I'm about to tell you right now, if I was a woman, I'd be
Yeah.
fucked because I would be like, I want to be healthy. And then guy would be like, hey, $300 if you eat this cheeseburger. Bet fam said that shit right on over.
But that's what it is, though. That's what a feeder is. They are paying them.
I'd be dead. I wouldn't make it.
Well, see, that's the sad thing about it.
And that's rough. And I feel so bad for a lot of the younger women, not older because they should know by now.
Right.
But a lot of the younger women nowadays are misled by men who've lost their masculinity. Okay? I'm just going to make that as a blanket statement.
Give me an example.
We've had this discussion in several podcasts before about pay pigs. Okay? where women they have these men who are like on their whatever accounts,
OnlyFans.
Snapchat, yeah, sure. And they give them their address because
Simps, you're talking about.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
but they come up and they drop a wad of cash on the front door. On the front door, and they'll kiss the mat, or like they'll say, "Can I kiss your foot?" And they're not really like, they know that it's like a holy object to them and they can't touch it, but they want to give all their money to it and they want to worship this woman. And these women are making more money than you and I will ever see in our lifetime. And they don't have to touch a man ever.
Wow.
And that to me is just like, if I were a younger woman in this society, yeah, because it's so easy to get rich.
Well, especially in this society. But but I struggle to understand that. So coming from a man's point of view, okay,
right.
Well, here's the thing. Me. So I get prostitution because the end goal is to get off.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, what are the guys getting from this? Attention?
Nothing. They're getting nothing.
Then why though? Then what's the point?
That's why I said a lot of men have lost their masculinity.
Okay, but they lost their masculinity. You don't do something unless you get something from it.
Not
and
anymore.
I'm not saying something physical, some kind of gratification. So clearly these guys,
their gratification is that they've made this person happy in the short term.
Oh, I see.
That's it.
Huh.
Can you imagine that though? You're giving up your fucking paycheck,
right,
to make a girl go, "Thank you so much. I bought some McDonald's."
And then I wouldn't have power today.
Right.
No Wi-Fi.
Like it absolutely fucking boggles my mind.
Oh, me too. Because I don't get the idea.
Now, but to that point though, if a woman is 500 pounds and she's preaching body positivity,
right?
I love my body, and she's getting paid for every fucking cent of what she's eating, I can get that.
Right.
I understand. Your brain is now conditioned to believe that what you are is okay.
But that is a minuscule percentage of overweight people.
Nowadays.
I'm telling you, dude. Well, nowadays, I don't know, but that's not a thing. I mean, it is a thing. Excuse me. It is a thing, but that's not a common thing. Yeah. But this body positivity thing, now, is body positivity a real thing? Yes. If you're disabled or something and you can't control how your body looks for whatever reason, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But you can change your weight. You can change your weight.
Yeah, you can.
You can lose weight. Now, and am I saying that there's not an overweight person out there that legitimately is happy in their body? I'm sure there is somebody out there. Oh, yeah. But I think the vast majority of them are not happy.
And they're misled.
And they're misled to believe that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a culture, because if you think about 15, 20 years ago,
right,
we weren't doing this. We weren't talking like this.
Yeah.
It was fitness.
Right.
Everyone should be fit. It's a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know why? Because doctors told you, hey, you know what? You should lose some weight. It'll help your cholesterol.
Right.
Nowadays, doctors are on a fine line of telling you whether you should lose weight or not.
Right.
And that's where the problem lies.
Oh, of course it is. There's even some doctors that are like, well, it is possible to diet and exercise and not see any improvements. No, it's not. I'm not a doctor. But I know
that's why there's medicines, though. That's why there's medicines.
Yeah, but still, I think if you diet and if you change because that's the thing that I always have struggled with. The reason why I always fail with dieting and exercising is because I'm impatient. Yeah, I'll do it and I'll expect to see results the same fucking day. Like legitimately, I'll eat a salad and be like, my stomach is still the same fucking size. Seriously. That's the mindset that I have. And that's why I fail so often at it, because I am impatient.
Right.
So instead of trying to do what I'm doing, it needs to be a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's so many heavy people try to justify the way that they live and how big they are, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
It is. And that's the other thing, is people are not willing to admit that something is difficult to do in their life.
Well, but people are not willing to admit it's just ridiculous. Oh, and this person that kept commenting on my stuff, calling bullshit and stuff, as we were continuing to comment and have the conversation, he was deleting previous posts of his.
Really?
Yeah. I would go back to reference one of his posts to
oh, that's
talk
pussy.
About it.
That's being a pussy.
That's what I'm saying. What a fucking what a coward.
Yeah.
He was taking his post off, and I was like, dude, if you're going to argue, at least back yourself up.
Seriously.
Stick with your fucking argument.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No.
Oh, dude, it was...
Point of the story here, stop arguing with people online.
I can't
You gotta just stop. People want to argue because they just want to fucking argue.
But the point is I'm not arguing. I'm not trying to start an argument.
Doesn't matter.
People are posting shit, and I'm calling them out on it.
You could post a post,
and
you should test this out, and say the sky is blue.
Right. And people will still argue with
Somebody's going to argue. Somebody's going to go, well...
What you're describing is X. That is what Twitter is now. 100% that's what it is. And it's one of the reasons why I like it. It is. It's great. It's good fun. But I mean, people on Facebook, it's just wild. Like, I mean, people were, well, you're just clearly missing the point. And I was like, I'm not missing the point.
Right.
I'm telling you that Lizzo did this, and you're telling me that she's still happy with her body. And I was like, okay, you just said that she's happy with her body. Then why change your body?
Yeah.
And they were like, that's not what she's saying. Then tell me what she's saying.
Right.
And nobody could tell me. That's the problem that I fucking had with it. And one person was like, yeah, clearly, to me, was like, clearly we also need to have some low IQ positivity. And and at that point, I commented on it and I said, can't argue
Let
with
me
that.
send that man a hot dog.
Yeah.
So a great response.
So I just commented, I said, good game. And I didn't post anything else after that. I was done. I'm just like, I'm not arguing.
You're just like, what the fuck ever.
Well, because I get obsessed with it after a while.
Well, speaking of X, so there was an interesting post posted the other day by our one and only president. So we're all very, very well aware that the Pope is dead.
Right.
He died, 2 weeks ago, maybe now, something like that.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I didn't know him personally.
Yeah,
so.
clearly Zach's not Catholic.
Well, not only, I don't know them. I don't know if they were really a good person or a bad person. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I get it.
So,
we'll still rest.
I guess.
Still a person.
So anyway, Trump decided to post an AI photo of himself as the Pope. Which it wasn't just a bullshit post on X. It was on the White House website.
Yeah, and which is because here's the thing. I've talked about this in the past. Did I vote for Trump? Yes, because I like his policies better than Kamala Harris's. But here's the thing. This is the kind of shit that I don't like about him.
Yeah.
Like that is just being like, I won.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, dude, I mean.
Well, and there's things.
And the thing that's sad about it, this is the kind of shit that a lot of the Trumpers like him for.
Yeah, no. This is a prime example of where's the people that are supposed to filter this stuff. You know what I mean? His advisors.
No.
Like I would be like, hey, yo, look, if you post this, the Catholic demographic is probably going to be a little bit not happy with you. Like, I mean, somebody should have been like, this probably is not your best idea.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that.
But here's the thing. Anybody that's in his cabinet or anybody that works for him is not going to tell him that.
I fucking would.
They know. No, you fucking
yes,
wouldn't.
I fucking
because
would.
he would lose. He'd be like, Zach.
And I'd be like, listen,
we're not on the same page here, Mr.
I'd be like, wall, picture, stick to
I'm
one.
down with, yeah.
Like, let's focus here. Like, it just, yeah, I mean.
But it's all rubbing the presidency's victories in the face. Did you see that they posted all the pictures of people that they had deported on the White House lawn?
Woo.
Pictures of random deportees. And just saying what their crimes was. And, you know.
That's touchy. Yeah.
Well, but see, I mean, I get it. Yeah, we need to know, you know, and some people want to know why they're deported to make, you know, we're not just deporting innocent people.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
But I'm saying people want to know that. And I get why they're doing that. But that's a little, I mean, that's just not.
And here's for the 13 people that listen to this podcast, okay?
Yeah, if we
I want people to understand that there was a mass deportation in our lifetime before Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? Now Trump has gotten up to what, 100,000 now so far?
Obama got like 500,000, didn't he?
He got 5.8 million in
wow.
his 4 years. People are not recognizing the fact that Obama, a Democratic leader, had 5.8 million deported in his 4-year term, which means at the current rate that we're running, we won't even hit 5.8.
Right.
So it's because the media is portraying this as such a big deal when folks, it's a big deal because it's just being spread all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
It's no different.
No.
And it's even less harmful than it was when Obama did it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't understand what everybody's fuss is.
Right.
They're not taking facts at all.
Well, and we've talked about this, you know, politically and stuff. I used to be on the far left. And when I started to kind of stop, that's when I started to do much research because I would hear all this Trump hating stuff and even talk to y'all about it and be like, he fucking said this. And you're all like, no, he didn't. And at one point I finally got to a point where I started to look and I'm like, wow, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. He didn't do that and stuff. And that's why I try to get my mom. I talk to mom about it and she'd be like, you hear what Trump said? I'm like, I heard, but let me check.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and check and actually watch the footage. And I'll be like, that's not what he said. And she'll be like, he didn't. I'm like, no, he said this, and they made it sound this way.
The media does that to
but I hate
every
that.
candidate.
I can't stand that. And what bothers me, what media can you trust?
You can't.
I get like news articles and stuff that'll pop up on my phone. I'll read it and be like, this is interesting. And then I'll go, well, fuck, I don't even know if it's real.
Right.
You know?
See, I just want to just rub this in your face for just 1 second. Okay. And Dustin's too, because I know he's going to listen.
All right.
RFK.
Yeah.
You know, he's in now. He came out and said, hey, you know, I know we've just banned the red dye, right? He's now in the month of May. He has 5 hot items on his list. I think I might have sent it to you guys. I can't remember. No. Like actual things to ban.
Oh, I see. Actually,
one was like high fructose corn syrup. One was seed oils. Things that he believes are really negative towards our health, which I understand.
I agree, yeah.
You know what number 5 was? Chemtrails.
Chemtrails?
Yes.
So what? The government is officially acknowledging
that there are chemtrails. I've been fucking saying that to y'all for years.
You have been.
And our director of health is it's an actual legit problem.
Yeah, but I'm still going to need to see a bit more research and some documentation. It's on his top 5 list for
May.
Well, just because he fucking said it doesn't mean anything.
Just because he feels like going, we're making this shit up. No.
Like fucking Breitbart talking about making the frogs gay and shit. No, wait. That was Alex Jones.
That was Alex Jones.
I
mean, it's I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just brought it.
Just want to call it.
Just want to rub that in y'all's face.
Yeah, but the stuff that they're posting on, you know, because even like people that were following the White House page on Facebook, for example, was commenting on like, dude, like, Mr. President, let's kind of tone this down a little bit, you know?
Well, and that goes back to our last week's podcast episode, AI.
Yeah.
That would look, if everyone died today.
Yeah.
And a new generation of people spawned from tadpoles or some stupid shit in the future, and they saw that photo,
they'd be like, that's the Pope.
They'd be like, it was the Pope.
Yeah.
It looks no different than anything else. This Pope died, and 2 weeks later, the President of the United States of America was appointed the Pope. And no one would know.
Yeah.
So and I said this about our last campaign, our last presidential campaign.
The race, yeah.
This next one is going to be fucked because there's going to be AI shit all over the place, and these presidents are going to use it to their advantage.
Again, and going back to our last episode, I still think it needs to be policed in a certain.
I think it might take something like that
to some extent. It needs to be monitored because it's way too easy. And I don't think the president created it. I think somebody made it. He got it and was like, me as the Pope, and posted it.
Yeah.
You know, or got his press secretary. Could you imagine,
like, let's just say you were running and you were running against, I don't know, Sarah Palin or something like that. And you had AI create a photo of her like butt fucking a beaver or something and put it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it looks legit. But I think you're smearing her campaign.
But I think that's a little far fetched. I think the majority of society would be like, that's not real.
Yeah, but again, look at what Trump just did. He posted something kind of unethical.
Hang on. Him dressed as the Pope.
I know. I'm saying
versus Sarah Palin.
No, I know it's no comparison.
Butt fucking a beaver. That's what I mean.
No. But I'm saying it's that level of there's no filter. What's acceptable versus what's not acceptable. A bunch of Catholic people out there, they saw that photo. I bet you they're pissed. You know what I mean? You've offended a group of people.
Okay, so you and I both voted for Trump, but we're not those radical Trump supporters. And what I'm saying is there are some Catholic Trump supporters that were probably been like, damn, man, it's not going to sway their opinion of him.
Yeah, well,
they're still going to support him.
True, but I mean,
there might be a few older women that are Catholics.
I was about to say, I don't know. You don't know these Catholics, man. Like, they're going to see that and be like, "Ay, chica tu madre."
And before anybody who listens to this calls any kind of racist stuff, Zach married a Mexican Catholic.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so he's allowed.
I mean,
I bet, dude. I bet.
Not Catholic anymore. Let's make that clear.
Well,
but you know,
but I mean, I bet people.
Yeah,
were up in
it's just.
Well, and I saw that the Vatican responded to it. I didn't see what they said.
They were probably like, "Hey, let's talk."
No, please. None of them like. None.
Could you imagine the world?
Pope didn't like him.
Could you imagine the world? But my God.
Yeah, but as far as the papacy.
You can't.
No,
Yeah.
Trump's not a cardinal. He's not even.
No,
he's not a man of the cloth at all. He couldn't become the Pope. I mean, I don't think they could be like, we're actually going to,
change things up a little bit.
Like, imagine the conclave in the Vatican, and they're like, this is a little unusual, but we got some votes for Donald Trump, and he's not a cardinal, so let's go ahead and clarify the rules here. Yeah, I don't know. They're actually talking about that we could potentially have our first American Pope. Who gives a shit? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't matter.
What's the last one? So,
yes.
This is the last Pope. I'm telling you.
Do you want to elaborate
That's
on
a whole
that?
nother episode.
Yeah,
That is an
I was going to say, I don't know if we
entire
can get that in the last 10 minutes.
No, oh my God.
But I mean, it's just, I don't know, but him, the professionalism, that's the kind of stuff that I'm embarrassed about.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
regards
I
to
agree.
like European countries and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
Yeah.
that stuff to me is silly.
Yeah, it's like
You know?
there needs to be a level of professionalism.
Yeah.
That's what we expect.
Right.
If we didn't expect that, we would put Kamala in. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If Kamala was president, there would have been a little bit of professionalism, but no substance.
Right.
Yeah, there'd have been. Yeah, that's the problem. But
We
that's
must be
you know,
unburdened by what has been.
But well, yeah, and as far as the next presidential race, there's no Democratic leader.
God help us.
Dude, I don't know where it's going to go.
There's no Republican leader after this either.
Well, I guess we're voting in our first independent.
I'd be okay with that.
Well, it depends on what he fucking stands for.
Well, yeah, that's true. You're assuming it's a he. How dare you?
Excuse me. He, she, they, them, who knows?
Oh, well, that's not independent then. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
RFK ran as independent, which I was kind of leaning towards him in the beginning anyway.
Well, because he wouldn't have made it as a Republican.
But the thing is, he should. I think he recognized the fact that going up against Trump, he wasn't going to have that chance.
Yeah.
But once Trump is out, I think he may have a good chance after being the secretary or the director of health.
Right.
I think he has a good chance of running again. He could run as a Republican, being that he's standing with the Republican president now.
I suppose, but you know,
He would pull some Democratic votes too, though.
Well, he is making some good changes in the
Yeah,
health as far
he
as
is.
health goes.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's making some. I was totally down with getting rid of the red dye.
Fucking fluoride in the water too.
Chlorine. Is it fluoride?
It's fluoride. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. Chemicals.
Chlorine.
Chlorine. It just needs to be water. Pool water.
Just pull water. Folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but going back to him posting the picture of himself as a pope, we've referenced this before, but if nobody has seen the movie Idiocracy,
Oh my God.
it's getting so close to
Yeah.
that movie, it's fucking scary. Like, I could totally see a president in that movie be like, "Hey, you know what'd be funny?
Post me as a pope.
Me as the pope. And let's put it on the internet."
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
Seriously.
You know, it's wild.
We're
It's
so
scarier than fuck.
close. And I hate that. I hate that because I really wish he would be more professional. I do.
Well, he never really has been, and maybe it does need to be, because for a while, especially in his campaign, he was kind of holding back with some of that radical shit.
Yeah.
And
I
when he
agree.
speaks, for the most part, he still is. But posting this stupid shit, and I've never been on Truth Social. I've never
Yeah.
seen any of his posts on Truth Social. I don't know anything about that, but apparently that's where he goes off the hinges.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not. I can only imagine what he's talking about.
Oh, it's just everything you can imagine.
the same
we
shit.
see it on X as soon as it gets posted on Truth Social.
Oh, dude, is it?
Yeah.
It posts on.
It posts like someone immediately posts it from there onto X.
Right.
So, which again, the most of our presidents in the last decade have had people step in to post things for the presidents. I don't think that's happening this time.
What, on social media?
Yeah. Like Biden was not posting on X.
Well, he
had people who were posting for him.
like he had a social media team.
Yeah. Trump, I don't think that's happening. Trust me, there's no fucking way.
So you think that he directly was like, "Hey, post this"?
Yes, because if you had a team, I guarantee you the whole team didn't go, "Great idea." They would have at least been like, "Hey,
Yeah.
can we talk about this?
Yeah, it's
like,
like,
can we make sure?" Nah, there was none of that bullshit.
like,
It was
sir,
like,
let's-
"Hey, look at that, post it."
Right.
And it was done.
Yeah.
I really don't think there was any like team or anything in
And
place.
I've been making a point of trying to. The problem is they do it at different times every day. But I've been trying to listen live to the press secretaries.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking, what do you call it? The
briefing.
the news briefing.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
briefing.
whatever. Fuck, man. I try to. And the thing about it
Shakedown.
is, and the thing about it is imagine being in that position. No matter what fucking stupid thing he says, what fucking stupid thing he does, you have to make it sound positive.
Yeah.
Fuck that job.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
For
the
any
stress
president,
level.
any
And
president.
to her credit, she doesn't take any bullshit.
No,
Like anybody who's been asking questions, she will flat out be like, "Bitch, I've already answered it."
Yeah.
And the president said it yesterday too. Like she, like her or not, she's on top of it.
Yeah,
At
she
least,
is.
as far as I've seen, but I would hate that job.
Yeah, no.
That would suck.
So I'd be up there and they'd be like, "So, Mr. Brown, the president yesterday said, fuck the white people."
Yeah.
And I'd be
What
like,
do you mean by-
I'd be like,
what-
I'm sure, I'm sorry, I didn't see that
Did
post.
he actually mean that?
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I didn't see that post. Did he actually mean that? Next question. I would be like,
yeah, but here's the thing is how they would spin it and be like, see, this is the problem with the liberal media nowadays. You take something innocent like I fucking hate the white people and you turn it into something he was clearly talking about.
Dead.
He would totally find some way to spin it.
And be like, it was a misspelling. It wasn't white.
Or he misspoke. He didn't mean white. He meant
hateful people.
But that's how. But I mean, I get it, and imagine they haven't had to do it for any other president except for him.
I know.
I mean, well, that's not true.
I know they did.
Biden kind of had some fucking word diarrhea.
Oh man,
occasionally would say
I
some
keep
random
going back
shit.
and watching like people were posting like little clips of Trump, Biden, Kamala, a bunch of them, even Obama. Like saying stupid shit.
Yeah.
And Biden's the worst out of all of them.
You know who I miss?
It's just George Bush.
W.
Yeah.
He was fucking great. He was so goddamn funny.
He would just say off the wall.
But he was funny. Biden was just sad.
Yeah.
Like towards the end,
It was dementia.
I legitimately felt bad for him. Yeah. Like that's like awful. Let the man retire. Like he doesn't, y'all are pushing him out on stage and he's doing what he thinks is normal. Yeah. And I felt so bad for him, man.
Like the one where he's going the can of chicken soup, and and it's like, what?
And when
sir, we're talking about the war.
And when they also too, all they needed was for Jimmy Carter just to say, "I am for Joe Biden." Instead of them just taking what he said, they had to wheel his body out on a stage, and it looked like he had been dead for a year, and they buried his ass up and put him in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I was like, that is disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Like, he didn't even say anything, did he?
No.
They just wheeled him out there.
And he was just like...
yeah, it was just dude, you're all,
it's fucked.
All right, we went on a bit of a political tangent here, which was...
Yeah, but it's fine.
Absolutely not the intention, but I think that's it for this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, wow, what else you got?
I don't know.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing else? Shit.
Well, we got plenty to talk about, but...
Well, but I think we do need to talk about the whole... If nobody's familiar with the whole prophecy of the last pope, Zach's definitely going to fill us in on the next episode. We have talked about it a little bit in the past.
That's a big one, and as a
scary.
small fraction of what I'll talk about, we only have a couple years left to live, essentially.
Well,
not to live.
I don't believe in prophecies. I don't believe in all this doomsday bullshit. But Zach has, unfortunately given me some compelling arguments in the past.
Yeah.
So we'll save that for another
All I'll
episode.
say is I still have a message to myself on my work Teams chat that says 2027, the year of impending doom.
You sent that to yourself?
Yeah, I sent that to myself.
When?
So anytime I look at my own chat with myself,
that's what it says?
That's the bottom message.
So you could come into work with I'm feeling great today, and then you see it and you're like, yeah.
Fuck.
That would just ruin my day.
I mean, it's...
what's the point?
And it's not necessarily that it's impending doom. It just means that our reality and life as we know it will shift.
The videos that I have watched about it is compelling and it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
And it makes sense, which pisses me off because I tend to not believe in that
Which is why
kind of
I'm
stuff.
really watching who this next pope is, because there's going to be some specific attribute about them that's going to be different, which is a signal to that this is the last pope.
You think?
Yes.
Watch,
And
he'll be
even down
American.
to, and I hate to say it because I know it's a touchy subject, even down to the race.
Well, they're actually saying that this could be, it could either be the first American president or it could be the first African president.
And they have an Asian one lined up too.
Do they?
President? You mean pope?
What did I say? President?
President?
Oh, pope, sorry. Well, going back, full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's three of them that are potential. There's an American one, there is a black one, and there is an Asian one.
Wow.
Which, if they picked any of those, it would be different.
What if they gave us all three?
Then I would be like, oh, we're dead.
Like a complete set.
I would be like, we're going to die. We're not going to make it, folks.
That would be wild. Like, instead of the white smoke, it would be green, and everybody would be like, what does that mean? Everybody would be confused.
Aliens.
Oh, seriously. I would probably panic and be like, that's either a mistake or they mean something by that shit.
Zach, what was it again?
Green smoke. Oh, dude, I would call you. I'd be like, dude, what the fuck does this mean?
And I'd be like, hold on, sit down. I'm going to read you a whole paragraph of exactly what's coming.
Be like, you know what? Screw
date.
it. I'm coming to the house. I'll be there in a minute. I ain't got time for this bullshit. All right, that's it for this week. As always, you can find us on YouTube. Help Us Understand Podcast is our channel name. You can find us on wherever you get your podcasts. And if you have any questions and comments, which we strongly encourage, please send us an email at helpuspod@gmail.com.
Help us understand fat Lizzo. I should have said that backwards. Lizzo, fat loss, Trump's unhinged posts
Pope post.
and Pope stuff.
Pope stuff, yeah. Any of that.
Because that's coming next episode.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a big one. That's it for this week. I was Josh.
I was Zach.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.